Hey there, Nick Genetakis here. In this video, we're going to use a combination of Twitter's API along with a couple of command line tools to pick out a specific user who replied to a specific tweet. This could come in very handy if you happen to be running some type of Twitter contest where maybe if you get a whole bunch of replies, you just want to pick someone out at random and then give them whatever prize that you want. That actually happened here. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with what Nginx is, but it's a very popular web server. And they had a conference in mid-September 2020, and I was a part of that. Basically, they asked me to be a judge to their hackathon, as well as ask some questions to some of the presenters during the presentation. All of this stuff already took place, so I'll make sure to drop some links to that if you want to check those videos out. But the takeaway there is, they gave me this $15 gift card to give away, and basically it's enough to get a free t-shirt shipped to you. So I figured, the most fair way to do that would be, I'll just throw out a tweet like this, and all you have to do is reply, and then, I'll randomly pick someone at random. And funny enough, only 3 people have replied. Honestly, I thought quite a bit more were going to reply. So I developed a solution before I even made this tweet, thinking, maybe I would get a lot more than 3 people to reply. If I knew just 3 people were going to reply, then I just would have assigned them to a random number, generated that random number, and then that would have been that. But instead, now I got a chance to work with Twitter's API, and I figured it would be a great time to make a video about that. So there is this one command line tool that is written in Python called twarc. I guess that's how you'll pronounce that, twarc. And it's just a very nice way to interface with Twitter's API. So Twitter's API actually does not have an endpoint to get specific replies to a tweet, and we can see that here. But this tool is a pretty good abstraction over Twitter's API. And, I wasn't really looking to sit here and develop my own custom Python script or whatever for like 2 hours and finally get it to work. So my goal really was to, find a solution to the problem. So in this video, we're going to go over using this twarc tool, as well as chaining together a whole bunch of other commands to give that functionality that we want, which is to pick a specific random reply. So to get rolling with this, if you want to follow along by chance, then you do need to create some Twitter API application. And that's something we're going to do on video here, because this app that I created a long time ago, this was like 4, maybe 5 years ago, it seems like the process to do this changed a lot. So what we're doing right now is totally live. Like, I've actually never done this before. So by the way, you just go to apps.twitter.com. And then for here, when you go to create an app, I guess you have to apply to create an app. And now we need to tell Twitter, why do we want to create this app? So this is not probably going to be something for commercial or professional use. What else do we have here? We have hobbyist, academic, or other. Academic maybe like teaching or student. I don't know, like hobbyist maybe. Like exploring the API, I guess. Like, this was going to depend on your use case, but I'm going to roll with that one because I'm not going to like deploy this application anywhere. I'm just basically using this temporarily on the command line, and then probably never going to use it again unless I happen to have like another contest in the future. So let's see here. Yes, that is me at Nick Genetakis on Twitter. Individual developer account, blah, 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 blah. What country do you live in? That would be the United States. It should be down here somewhere. There we go. What would you like us to call you? This will be the name of your account. I don't know, like random replies or something like that. Like, is this the app name? I'm actually not even sure. Do I want updates about the Twitter API? No, thank you. So in your own words in English, describe how you plan to use Twitter and or the APIs, blah, 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 blah. 200 characters. Wow, response must be at least 200 characters. How will you use the Twitter's API or Twitter data? My God, okay. I would like to get a list of replies back from a specific tweet so that I can pick one at random to, geez, what am I trying to say? I would like to get a list of replies back from a specific tweet so that I can pick one at random. As part of a contest. My God, 81 characters left. It would be pretty cool to be able to do that. Wouldn't you think? Now, this would be a private app, by the way. By the way. There. Okay. Response must be at least 200 characters. Done. The specifics. Please answer each of these with as much detail as accurate as possible. Rejected? Jesus, man. This is some serious business here just to use Twitter's API. Are you planning to analyze Twitter data? Not really. It has to be over 100 characters long. But technically, maybe. Not really, but maybe. So what are we actually doing here? Not really, but technically, maybe. I'm really just looking to quickly use the API to get, all of the replies for a specific tweet. Okay, what else do we have here? Will your app use tweet, retweet, blah, 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 blah? No, it actually won't. Do you plan to display tweets or aggregate data? Absolutely not. Will your product, service, or analysis make Twitter content or derived information available to a government entity? No, it will not. Is everything correct? Exploring the API, personal, that is me. Yep, in your own words, blah, blah, blah. So, looks good. Let's see. Please review and accept. Okay. Yeah, sure. Sign away my soul here, apparently. So I would like to submit this application. Do I need to do something special here? Do I need to click something? Yes, by clicking this box. Cool. So I did it. Man, I'm such a champion. I filled out a form. So now I need to confirm my email. I actually did not expect that. But okay, I guess we're going to do a lot of blurring in this video. So I'm going to my inbox here, which is inbox 0, by the way. 0 things in my primary inbox. So there is the update from Twitter. Going to verify my account. Thank you very much. And finally, I've made it. Awesome. Let's go. No, I don't want all of that. I just want to just create a project, I guess. Project name, like random replies, I guess. Maybe that means my account was probably a little bit silly to name like what they wanted to call me, random replies. I thought that was the app name. Apparently not. Which best describes you? Below you'll find options on how you intend to use the Twitter developer platform. Didn't I just answer all this stuff like before? Geez, okay. Academic research, making a bot, exploring the API. Yeah, that's what I wrote before. Like, just for us here, I filled this out before. No, putting remember question mark is a little passive aggressive there. Pick which app you'd like to add to your project. Well, I would like to create a new application. So yeah, this is the one I want to do, random replies. Cool, thanks. Like all this is crazy because I could have just used my original app, which I actually did, but I'm doing this for the sake of the video so you can see the process here. And here is all sorts of different tokens here. So API key, API secret key, and a bearer token. But I don't recall that information being a part of this twarc. It required me to fill out different environment variables or configuration variables last time. There are 4 of them here, like consumer key, secret access token, blah, 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 blah. That is not what I see here. That's a little bit interesting, I guess. Like, what's going to happen here? I actually do not know. So let me just go ahead and just touch a .env file here. Man, I thought this was going to be a short video, like it would have been the easiest thing ever, but okay, this is going to be a longer video. So I'm just going to drop these keys in here now in case they happen to never be presented again. Like, I don't know, of course, I'm going to have to blur some of these keys, like secret keys. Well, actually, you know what? I'll probably just delete this whole entire account afterwards. That's going to be a little bit easier. So there is the bearer token. Okay, that's all the keys there. Let's see, set up your app settings. Let's see, sure, let's do it. Okay, so there's the apps there, random replies. All right, is there any other API keys? Like, how can I get those other keys that this twarc tool requires having? Authentication settings, maybe third-party authentication is disabled. Yeah, because I'm not signing in, I guess, with like a third-party account. Yeah, no, that's definitely super advanced stuff that I'm not going to be doing in this application. Products, nope, not going to really mess with that. Dashboard, V1 access, 1.1 access, maybe app settings here, or keys and tokens. Okay, there we go. Cool. So there is the consumer keys, which I was trying to look for. Yeah, my keys will blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Let's regenerate some keys here. Yes, let's regenerate them. So there is my API key, and this is the information that I really want. So I'm going to go API key down here. Okay, and then I don't know if that's going to stay named API key, by the way, just a heads up there. So API secret key, API secret key. That's because twarc requires having a different, possible different name for these environment variables, but we'll see in a second. Yeah, I saved them. Okay, thanks. These are consumer keys though. So now we need to go to twarc. So consumer key and consumer secret. That's what these need to be named. So if I do consumer key here, consumer underscore key, there we go. And the other one was consumer underscore secret key, right? Right? Was that correct? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, API key, there is the secret, and that's what that needs to be. Now, what about the other two though? Okay, so this is the access token and the secret. You got it. So those are already have been generated down over here. I think it was just this one was the access key. All right. And then also it was access secret key. Cool. And I don't think I'm going to need this bearer token. And that is it for that, I'm pretty sure. Let me go back to twarc over here just to see. Yeah, access token secret. So access token secret. Access token secret. And this is going to be access token. Okay, so then next up we have the consumer key and the consumer secret. So let me just make sure that that is all set up. There we go. And from here, we are going to export these variables out because in this .env file, I'm just going to source the file before I run the script to get these variables in there. Alternatively, it does say though for twarc that you can just run a twarc configure and it's going to pop these into like a dot file in your home directory. I decided not to do that in this case because if you happen to have maybe multiple applications, then you might have different consumer keys or something like that. I'm not really too sure about how Twitter's API works, but that should get us completely rolling now. That's actually kind of painful to set all this up just for something so temporary. But what are you going to do? So now that we have this file created here in the .env file, I am going to source this file here. So now it's available in this current terminal shell. So if I were to run the env command, then these environment variables would be set. Don't want to run that command now because there's other private things in there as well. But now we can actually maybe install twarc. So the way you install that is, I'm assuming you already have Python installed. You just do a pip3 install because I'm using Python 3. Since this library actually doesn't have any dependencies at all, not going to bother creating a virtual environment. Instead, I'm going to just install it directly into my local user account, which is Nick over here. And then we just pop in twarc here, which is going to get the latest version of that. And I already have it installed, so that's why you see that over here. That's not a big deal at all. It's a pretty small application. So now that we have twarc installed, we can actually start to use it. So for that, we can do twarc and we can do replies, and then we have to pop in some tweet ID. So in this case, I'm going to grab the status ID from here and just paste that in. You know, if you have a different tweet, like one of your tweets, then, you know, you can just replace that. Yeah, just replace the number. And now it looks like it says this is a protected or locked account, or the credentials provided are no longer valid. Okay, so it looks like possibly I messed something up here with Twitter's authentication here. Let's see, let's generate some new keys here. Okay, that's the access token. Probably going to start some tmux here, just so I have a couple of different terminals to work with. And if I go to that env file, let's see. All right, I'm going to paste in, that would be the access token, and this would be the access token secret. Okay, so that is the secret token. So that would be access token secret equals this one. And then this one is going to be access token equals that one. These go away here. And then I can just quit out that, resource the file to have all those changes take effect. And then we can run twarc here. And that is going to be replies. And I need to pop in that one ID from before. So there it is, copy to my clipboard, going back here, and there we go. Awesome. We finally have our response from Twitter's API. But this is actually super hard to read. And another tool that you'll want to install here is JQ. That's part of our command line toolchain that we're going to be using. So if you're running something like WSL like me and you're using some Debian-based distro, you can just install JQ like that. If you're on Mac OS, then you can just brew install it and you'll be good to go. So I've already installed that, so I'm not going to install it again. But what we can do now is, and let me just clear this, we can just pipe in JQ to here to get a much nicer looking output, right? This is actually human readable. Everything is color coded nicely. If you wanted to just scan what's in this JSON payload, then we can get all that here, which is pretty nice. But we don't just want to look at stuff, right? We want to actually parse out specific information. So part of this payload, what we want to get is there's a user object somewhere up here. Let's see if we can find it. Blah, 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 blah. There it is, like user object right there. So one thing that we want to get from here is the user screen name, right? That is their Twitter handle. So now what we can do is we can just go and grab that screen name like this, and that should give us a list of all the different usernames, right? People who have replied to this tweet. Now I'm in here twice because one, I replied to myself, which was up here just to basically announce the winner. And this API endpoint for replies, it actually just also includes your original tweet as well. So that's something we'll need to filter out pretty quickly. But you can notice here that the response that we're getting is a JSON response, basically like they're quoting the string here, and we sort of don't want to do that. So you can use the -r flag of JQ just to get the raw string. And if we bring up JQ's help menu, which is quite extensive, we can see that, -r just gives us the raw string. So if I run that one more time here, now we have basically a list of Twitter handles, right? The screen names. So the next step now, and let me just clear this again also, would be to use sed here to replace my username out of there, because I do not want to include myself in this, right? Like, because you can imagine if this tweet was a little bit more popular and there was like, a whole bunch of different names in there, maybe I replied a couple of times, I don't want to give my chance to win this. So what you can do with sed, and by the way, sed is super popular for doing things like finding and replacing text, but you can actually delete text with sed as well. So if you pass in D here as the action to take here, it is going to delete whatever matches this regular expression. So in my case, my Twitter handle is Nick Genetakis, so I'm going to run that. And notice now that, all instances of my name are completely gone. So now what we would like to do, now that we have this list of usernames, this is not in random order, so this won't quite work. Now the next step that we would like to do is to basically randomize this list of users. And luckily for us, there is a sort command. That's a standard Unix tool that we can use for this. So the sort command, if actually I cancel that and I run the help menu here, there's quite a lot of flags that we can pass in. So one really cool thing about sort is it has a -R flag here, which is going to randomly sort everything. So we can actually do that here. Just one more, pipe that we just need to add in here for sort. And once we do that, then we have a random list of users. And if I were to rerun this a couple of times, notice the list of users are coming back in a different order. It's basically random. It's also a good idea probably to throw in -u here, which is going to do uniqueness on here, right? So let's say that I didn't really use this sed command here to remove myself, because remember, there's two instances of myself here. If I don't do unique there, then technically, it's going to list me twice there. And, depending on what type of contest you're running, you may want to actually make this unique, right? So maybe, if someone were to reply 35 times, they should only be counted once. So that is really important. In my case, at least, I didn't want people to reply 10 times and have 10 chances to win. So that's why I do want to use the uniqueness there. So I'm going to go back to my full command before, and I know my head is probably blocking that. So let me clear that. And this is the full command right now. So we can see that we are doing a uniqueness check. Everything is totally random. But now the last step of this is, well, that's a list of all the screen names. Like, we actually want to just grab the first one out of there. So we can just use the head command and then use -n there to grab just one result, basically the first line. And if I keep spamming this here, ideally we'll probably see a pretty random representation of this list of users. So we can actually take this one step further. So what I ended up doing was I didn't just want to run, this pipeline here once and call it a day. I kind of figured maybe just to add a little bit more randomness, what I would do is, firstly, I would generate a random number between 1 and 10. and whatever number comes back, let's just say like 4 or something like that, then I would actually run this whole entire command 4 times like this, and I would pick whoever happened to be the 4th one. So what you can do there to generate that type of random number is you can just echo, and then you can use bash here. You can do some basic arithmetic with bash, but and I found this somewhere on Stack Overflow, right? Basically, the idea is you can just generate a random number like this, and if you just run this, as many times as you want, you're going to get a random number between 1 and 10. You can always change this to be something like 2, and then you'll get a 1 and a 2. Hopefully, if you ran this enough times, you would basically get a 50-50 split. So in my case, what I ended up doing was, I ran this command, and at the time of doing the contest, I got a 7. And I'm going to overlay a screenshot now to show you the results of what happened when I actually picked the winner. It was kind of freaky to the point where I thought maybe something was broken, that he won 6 out of 7 times, which I thought was pretty amazing. Luckiest person ever. And now he has an Nginx shirt. Also, it's also worth mentioning here too that if I run the sort command here, this may not be sorted in an order that you like, right? Well, actually, let me get rid of the random there and just do sort U. So notice that Texolus here, he's actually listed on top, but T comes after J, but what's up with that? And that is due to the language setting of what I have set here. So if I echo out lang here, it's actually set to C UTF-8 instead of English. So if you want to get really fancy about this command here, what you can do is you can just customize the language output to be whatever you want. You can use something like enus.utf8 here. And if I were to sort this, also getting rid of some of the other flags just so we can see the difference here, notice now that it is sorted, but case insensitive, right? So T comes after J, but it doesn't really matter that the T is capitalized because now it's using English as the language to pass in for sort. So if you just want to pop in the other flags that we've used here, I'll go back to this one. I guess it's a little bit easier. And then head and 1, and then we just put in that language over here that gives us an English sort. Doesn't really matter in this case because in the end it's all the same, but it is worth mentioning that. Because if you're using something like WSL2, then your language is going to be set to C instead of ENUS. And there we go. So that is how you can chain together a couple of different commands. Some of them are built into any Linux distro or probably Mac OS as well, such as using sed and sort. But JQ and twarc there, those are external tools. But I think this is kind of a cool example of how you can just chain together a couple of totally independent commands to solve a very specific problem that you have, right? I'm pretty sure the creator of sed probably didn't think that his toolchain would be a part of something like this to pick out random tweets from someone, So I think that is pretty cool. On that note, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up because it helps in the end. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer all of them. With that said, thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next video.